Hello, my beautiful soul. Okay, let's get right into it. I'm so excited for this. So, all things selling and getting booked on Instagram stories. Now, you will hear me say a million times, Instagram is not a marketing strategy. I'm not saying you cannot use Instagram. I highly suggest you do. It's how I get booked, but I'm just saying it is not a complete marketing strategy, okay? So if you're coming from one of my other videos and you're like, you said Instagram's not a marketing strategy, it's not, but there's a method to the madness, okay? Instagram is a big reason I am able to get people driving up to an hour to come see me for a 15-minute appointment. And I'm going to share exactly how you can replicate this so that you can also build the same connection with your followers. Okay, so why Instagram stories? First of all, you need to understand that IG stories are not for growth or visibility. Okay, you actually not a whole lot of your followers see your stories. It really depends on how many followers you have, but on average, anywhere from 5 to 10% of your followers actually see your stories. So we are not looking for growth or visibility on your IG stories, but what you are looking for is connection, building a community, and building trust. And that, my friend, is what is going to get you booked, okay? Stories are where you're going to be able to book out your schedule. Stories are where you're going to be able to start conversations, because conversations lead to sales. And if you're going to sit here and say, I don't want to sell, well, I hate to break it to you, but if you are in business, if you are a service provider, you are selling your services, you are selling yourself, you are getting people in the door by selling. So yes, you do want to sell, but there's a way that you can do it that doesn't feel salesy and sleazy and gross. So how exactly do we sell on Instagram stories? There is a method to this, okay? You need to do this correctly or you are going to ruin the relationship with your followers, okay? So grab a pen and paper and take notes. So the very first thing, I want you to think of Instagram stories as FaceTime, okay? You are talking to your audience like they are your best friend. And the key thing here is to remember to not use broad terms. When you are on your Instagram stories, you want your audience to feel like you are talking directly to them. You want them to be like, oh my God, are we having a conversation right now? And a lot of this boils down to knowing your ideal audience. And if you don't know your ideal audience, that is okay. And it also what will make this easier is really being clear on your brand identity. If you don't have that, that's okay too. If you want to deep dive into that's a whole nother video. But if you want to move forward with something like that, you can come join me in Ignited Power. It is my 1-month intensive business strategy workshop for solo estheticians. You definitely don't have to, but it is there for you if you want to really make this easier on yourself, okay? You don't have to, you can still use this method. Okay, so knowing your ideal audience is going to really help you when it comes down to knowing what to say, how to sound on your FaceTime, your stories, okay? So again, think of Instagram stories as FaceTime. You want to be messy and raw. This is where you let people see you, the real you, and remind people that I'm human. I'm human. Sometimes I forget that, or sometimes I think that clients forget that we are not just here to serve them. We are human. We have families. We have bills to pay, right? And so IG stories is a really good way to just show up as your authentic self and remind people I am not just a waxer, I'm not just a facialist, I'm not just here to be at your beck and call when you need a service. I'm a real fucking person, okay? So be messy, leave in your mistakes. If you have a blooper, I just messed up a few minutes there, I'm gonna leave it in. I think it just comes across as more authentic and it really helps build that trust with your audience. So don't be afraid. Your feed, you can make that as perfect as you want. You can spend hours making all the cut, right? You want that to be curated and perfect, but your stories, leave that messy, okay? Leave it messy. So then, number 2, if you're writing this down, I hope you are. So number 1, think of FaceTime. No, think of Instagram stories as FaceTime. Okay, number 2, I need you to be consistent. And I know you're like, I keep hearing this word, be consistent. What does that even mean? All right, You need to be consistent for 2 reasons. One, if you want to pop up in the first like 5, you know, when you go on Instagram and you see everybody's stories, you probably always see the first like 5 same people. If you want to be one of those people, you need to be consistent. You need to tell Instagram, like, I am here, I am engaging, please show me to my followers. So one big reason. The second biggest reason is building trust with your audience. If you're only popping up every once in a while, they're not going to grow to trust you. And then when they are ready to book an appointment, if it's between you and someone else who is being consistent, they're more likely going to choose that other person who's being consistent. And number 3, I'm going to tell you something right now that I learned that it's crazy, but it's not. It takes, on average, 6 to 10 months for someone to book an appointment with you after they follow you. 6 to 10 months. So you need to be consistently showing up to show them and tell them exactly why they don't need to go anywhere else and they need to book an appointment with you, or show them exactly why, like, you two are the best of friends and have this great vibe and they need to come see you. Okay, so those are the 3 reasons you need to be super consistent. It's not just to like post every day, it's to build trust and tell Instagram, hey, show my stuff to people. All right, so what you post through the day matters. You want to aim for 3 to 5 stories. Now, obviously, like, that will fluctuate and vary, but you want to aim for 3 to 5 stories. And there is a specific way at the end that I'm going to tell you how to do this to increase the amount of bookings that you're going to get. Okay, so what are you going to post in your stories? Again, so first of all, we are thinking of Instagram as FaceTime. Would you show up on FaceTime and sit here and be like, I have an appointment, book me now? No, probably not. Does that sound authentic? No. You need to be showing the behind the scenes. You need to show your life. You need to share personal stories, okay? I know my ideal client like the back of my hand, okay? Like the back of my hand. And I'm very consistent with my brand identity. So it's very easy for me to show up on Instagram and talk about my mental health. My followers know I am like currently tapering off Lexapro and it sucks, okay? It sucks. And they reach out and they ask me, like, are you okay? How's it going? That's about building connection. I'm sharing that. Now, does that mean you need to share everything about your life? No, absolutely not. Share what feels good to you, but just know that people want to know you. They want to know those personal, intimate things. So share what feels good to you, share what feels authentic to you, but please share. You're gonna have much more of a community if you're showing up and really letting people get to know you on a more personal level. Maybe you try a new restaurant, right? And you post on there, you do a behind the scenes of like, I'm getting ready and then I'm getting in my car and then here's the restaurant. Maybe you post a video of the menu. Perfect way. The other thing you want to do is when you are posting your stories, you want to invite your audience to engage. Engagement is what is going to drive your stories even further, okay? So if you're stopping at a restaurant, post a picture of the menu, pop a sticker up there and say like, what looks good to you? If you were at this restaurant, what would you try? Or invite your followers and say, hey, have you tried this restaurant? What would you recommend? You want people to be engaging with you, and that is going to push all your other story sequences to more people. Okay, so you can share anything on your stories, but I plead with you, it should be very little book me, I have appointments, link to your booking site. It should be very little of that. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to tell you exactly how to structure this so that you can still do that. And again, it's not coming off as like salesy and sleazy and causing distrust for your clients. So when you are building out your stories, use stickers. The key really is to invite your audience to engage with your stories. That starts conversations. And remember, when they engage with you, engage back. If you put up a poll, maybe you do a poll on, I went to like Starbucks today. I didn't do this, I should have done it. But maybe you want to try a new Starbucks drink, right? And you do like maybe a selfie or a video, either one, and you put a poll or, not a poll, a question box, and you say, what would you recommend? And then you let people, I recommend the caramel macchiato, or like, have you tried the new pumpkin latte? It's amazing. You're gonna get all these responses. don't ignore them, okay? Go in and reply to them and say, oh my God, thank you for your recommendation. I'll get that next time. Or is this something that you liked? Start a conversation with them, okay? Reply back to them. They're gonna be so surprised that you actually responded to them. It's crazy. But build up that relationship by continuing the conversation and replying whenever you get a response to a poll or a story. And this is also going to, again, tell Instagram, like, there is engagement happening. We need to show this story. This must be a really, really good piece of content. Okay, so 3 to 5 stories, maybe 1 or 2 of them can be booked now, but it is very, very strategic in how you are going to structure this if you want to get more bookings. And I would not recommend doing this every single day. So if maybe you're doing this right now, the only time you're popping up on stories is either 1, you're just sharing your feed post directly to stories, or 2, you're just like, I have appointments booked now to go book. So what's gonna happen is if you are constantly doing that, you are, 1, you're probably not getting a ton of engagement, right? Like maybe people are like clicking the link to go book, but they're not engaging with it. So it's not getting pushed out as much. But 2, you're going to train your audience to ignore your stories, because they're going to know, oh, she's just linking her booking link, right? This was me years ago. This was me. I would only pop up when I wanted something. If you only pop up when you want something, when you want to sell something, when it is convenient for you, when you are the only one getting something out of it, you are going to alienate your clients, your potential clients, and you're going to create distress. They're going to unfollow, or they're just not going to even click through all of your stories. So that brings us to the stack method. This is how you are going to be able to still push people towards your booking link or your offer or whatever it is, without consistently being like, I have something that I think you want, right? So what this would look like is, okay, the stack method. So what this is going to look like is your first story of the day, okay? Because again, you're posting anywhere from 3 to 5 times a day. Your first story, you're not selling anything, okay? It's an engaging story. It's like you're asking your client, your audience a question. You are inviting them for more engagement. So maybe we'll go back to Starbucks. Maybe you do a Starbucks run, and so your first post is in the morning. You're doing a Starbucks run, and you're saying, help me pick a new drink, and people are replying, right? So that's your morning one. And then maybe a little bit later, maybe an hour or 2 later, you post a picture of you with your Starbucks drink, and you tell people, this is what I went with, I love it, or oh my God, I tried it, I hate it, give me more ideas. Or maybe you're just like thanking them for all of their recommendations. And then maybe in the middle of the day, you do a like behind the scenes of filling, or a behind the scenes of setting up for a client, and you're showing them your studio and your setup. Okay, the first 3 posts, we have not mentioned anything. We've got 2 personal posts. We have a like, I'm doing a service, but I'm not trying to get you to book a service. Okay, your 4th one, your 4th story, did I count that right? 1, 2, 3. You would then say, you could then post like, maybe you're taking a break. Maybe we'll pretend you're going on another Starbucks run, okay? You're like, you didn't like that drink, you're gonna go for another drink. You're gonna say, thank you all for all your recommendations. I actually went back and I got this other drink, BTW. If you need an appointment so we can talk Starbucks, here's the link. And you link. If you have an offer, say you have like a package that you're selling, right? I still have 10 packages available, or like whatever your hook is. Link it there, and that's it. And then maybe have another engaging sticker, right? Have you tried this latte? Whatever it is. You always want to invite more engagement. And then the link, it's low pressure. The link is there. It's not salesy. You're not like, oh my God, hurry up and go book this appointment, right? You're like, here's my Starbucks, and oh, by the way, if you need an appointment, go link. Don't use that hook. That's an awful hook. We'll go over hooks later, but you get my drift, okay? You have stacked it. And then your next story is something completely different. Maybe you're going out to dinner and you're like, have you guys tried this restaurant? Maybe you do a behind the scenes of you closing down your studio, okay? So you have sharing You're sharing your life, in your second story, your third story, you are inviting them to like, hey, I have appointments. Again, don't use that hook, but you're telling them like, here's a link if you need an appointment. Your next story after that is something completely different. Maybe I'm a TV junkie. I'm constantly like, what are you guys watching? Tell me what you guys are watching, or here's what I'm watching. So maybe at the end of the night, then you close out your night, your last story is, I'm on episode 3 of Your Honor and I'm loving it so much. Have you guys watched Your Honor? Sticker, okay? That's how you do it. You stack your offer, your booking link in the middle of your stories. And while I say that, it reminds me of something. If you ever have something super important, this is really important for like if you're marketing for maybe like Black Friday, because that's coming up. Now, one, I'm always going to say you should always stack, because again, otherwise you're just going to train your clients to just be like, well, she's selling something, right? But if you ever have something really, really, really important that you need your clients to see, stack it, put it in the middle. Make your first post something super, super engaging that is going to get people visiting your profile, interacting with your sticker, sending you messages, and then whatever that important thing is, it's the next story. Because as long as that first story does well, that next story, they're more likely to see, okay? So pro tip there. But again, you always want to stack it, hide it in the middle, okay? That way you are not you're alienating your clients, and it's just there. I wouldn't do this every single day. I would not every single day be like, I have appointments, but once or twice or a couple times a week, I would do that, stack my offer in the middle. I have a bonus tip. No, I just gave you the bonus tip. I am awful at this outline. All right. So I need you to give yourself 90 days of doing this and committing and saying, I'm going to show up for 90 days. 90 days before you come to me and say, this doesn't work. Okay. I need you to give it 90 days. And then after the 90 days, if it's not working, restructure, revamp, do something else, right? Number 2 tip, engage, give more than you take. You want a community of clients, not just a list. I can guarantee you, and I can tell you that because at one point I just had a client list. It wasn't a huge one because I was not focused on building a community. I only showed up on Instagram when I had a sale or a discount, or I wanted people to book. I never showed my face, and I never showed anything that was personal. I also didn't know my ideal client, and I had no brand identity. I was just here, right? And my numbers reflected that, and that's for a whole nother video. But if you want consistent bookings, I'm talking every single day, you have new client bookings, you have a wait list, you have people reaching out on Instagram saying, when's your next opening? You need to build a community. You need to stop being so focused on, I just need clients, and focus on speaking directly to the people who you want in your treatment room. You want people to say, it's like you were talking directly to me. And you can say, because I was, and now you're here, and we are best friends, and they're gonna be a client for life. Try this method, send me a DM, let me know how it works for you, and I will see you in the next video.